In my next life, I want to be the first Sister of Charity hockey player. And I will play in Buffalo. This is a very big year for me. They just named an outboard motor after me in Suchitoto, and I thought that was big. I can't believe this. Don't wait until you are as old as I am to wear the color purple. It gets attention, it feels good, and it's fun. You look happy. Hello to the graduates. I am honored and humbled by your president, Dr. John J. Hurley, and the administration of your college that they would ask me to address you. And I am deeply grateful for their affirmation of my many years of living and loving as a Sister of Charity, the last 25 of them in a tiny, wounded country, El Salvador, where my heart has been broken open to love more. A place where I continue to get glimpses of the promised land. A place where I have been midwived by a people whose deep faith and vibrant hope continue to nourish and astound me. They have transformed my life and have helped me return to myself. Together we imagine a circle of compassion with no one standing outside of it. This is my first time in Buffalo. Buffalo, as we say it in El Salvador. But I have many friends here at Canisius. Many of you have visited El Salvador, served us, learned our story, and allowed yourselves to be touched by the memory of our martyrs. Yes, even before this honor today, I have felt part of the Canisius family. As so many of you have stood in my world, mi pueblo, Suchitoto, it is a real joy for me to stand in your world today. Thank you for returning every year. In fact, I never thought you would come back after Father Tom fell off a broken ladder when he was whitewashing the chapel. But you know those Jesuits, all for the greater honor and glory of God. It is also because of the Jesuit community here and their brothers in Marquette, where I studied, and their brothers in El Salvador, who in 1989 was so brutally murdered, that belonging to you is such a privilege. You look so happy, all of you, distinguished guests, students, parents, grandparents, lovers, and friends of the graduates. I know you are ready to celebrate, and you graduates, not just tonight, maybe all summer. Yes, there are many things that give us joy today, so I won't keep you too long. You will walk out of here today with only one thing that no one else has. There will be hundreds of people with your same degree. There will be thousands doing what you plan to do for a living. But, my friends, you will be the only person alive who has the sole custody of your own life, your own entire life. Not just your work life, not just your stock portfolios, your bank accounts, or the life of your mind. I'm talking about the life of your heart, the life of your soul. I am talking about your deepest center. You can Google for an answer. You can Google for a mate, for a career. but you can't Google to find out what's in your own heart. The passion that lifts you upward. You have to listen to what is inside yourself and discover your own fire. And not only do you need your own fire, but so does the whole world. While I have your attention, let me share a few quotes, and then we can marinate in them briefly. If the size of your dreams does not scare you, know they are not big enough. So, my dear friends, I will dream large. I want to invite you to be mystics and midwives. Okay, men, do double think. Mid-husbands, midwives. Yes, you heard me correctly. Mystics and midwives, or contemplative activists. Chet Ramo is a professor emeritus in physics at Stonehill College in Massachusetts. He writes still, sometimes, for the Boston Globe. He visits Ireland every year to study rocks and cliffs. In his book, Honey from a Stone, he says, and I paraphrase, all our knowledge is like a tiny island in the sea of mystery, and we must extend the shores of that island so more mystery can lap up on the beaches. We must keep asking the questions, keep searching, keep discovering, but knowing that the beauty of the unconscious is that it knows a great deal, whether personal or collective, but it always knows that it does not know, cannot say, and dare not try to prove or assert too strongly, because what it does know is that there is always more, and all words will fall short. The contemplative person, the mystic, is precisely that kind of person who agrees to live in that unique kind of brightness, a combination of light and dark that we can say is brighter still. Contemplation has been defined as taking a long, loving look at the real, to look and really see, to look and really see the inner meaning of the universe and human life, to see and to meet the withinness of everything, the trees, the stars, the moon, the oceans, your lover, yourself, your wisdom sources, the holy books, the holy people, the pain, the suffering, the lethal absence of hope, the wars, the poverty. Really see and touch the withinness of everything. You cannot grow in this art form of contemplation without a strong tolerance of ambiguity, an ability to allow, forgive, and contain a certain degree of anxiety, and a willingness to not know and even need to know it all. This is how you allow an encounter with mystery. What we can grasp gives us knowledge. What we let grasp us gives us wisdom. Mystics are not different kinds of human beings, no. Every human being is a different kind of mystic. Be your own mystic. Each of us can and does experience oneness. Yes, I invite us to be mystics, to choose wisdom. As the Holy Book says, choose wisdom rather than light, because the splendor of her never yields to sleep. Keep extending the shores of the island so that more mystery can lap on its beaches, so that the experience of oneness with all can be yours. I also invite you to be midwives, to assist at the birthing of a world long emerging but clearly off course. to invite all generations to lend their hands and hearts to reshape how this planet is cared for, how it can continue to support life, how we can truly recognize our connectedness to each other and all life. We must be midwives of solidaridad, solidarity. You can Google that word, but I think a story or two better defines it. During the war, I happened to be in a little village where news came that the government forces were going to pass through our area, and it meant myself, women and children and old people had better get out. So we got in the back of a very large truck, and we took off slowly and carefully. And I guess the truck driver saw in the rearview mirror that there were headlights coming. And so he decided to make a left turn onto a road that really wasn't a road. And so we went off a little embankment, and it meant we had to escape from the truck and hide. So we separated in a large field. And I happened to be very close to a woman with a baby and another woman and myself. And the woman with the baby had a basket because she had her baby with her. I left my backpack in the truck. I got off quickly. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, it tends to get a little chilly in El Salvador. And so we were huddling closer for warmth because we were all spread out. And at that time, the mother decided, well, when we were moving around, she'll check on the baby. And so she opened her basket, and she took out rags to change the diaper. But she also had a stack of tortillas. Now, I'm a nervous eater, and I was pretty scared, so I was hungry. And I had a big smile on my face, but the woman alongside of me said, "Oh, no," she said, "we can't eat your tortillas. You don't know how long it'll be walking with the baby. You have to feed the baby. You have to keep up your strength." And the woman with the tortillas looked at both of us. She took her index finger and said, "Oh, no," she said, "tonight we share our food. Tomorrow we share our hunger." Solidaridad, solidarity, unequals sharing. Will you midwife new economic systems built more on solidaridad, solidarity? What response does seeing human suffering demand of us? Will we awaken to the perception of scandals, the scandal of hunger, the planned lack of education, excessive violence, the corruption and impunity of so many institutions? If we do not perceive the scandals, we will never act. We must see and feel the pain to want to do the changing, the birthing. Oh, those most quoted words of the Declaration of Independence. Would that it read, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of meaningfulness, the pursuit of truth, the pursuit of justice, and oh yes, happiness will follow." As Toni Morrison has remarked, personal success devoid of meaningfulness, free of a steady commitment to social justice, is more than a barren life, it is a trivial one. It is looking good instead of doing good. Think about a meaningful life, not just a comfortable one. Are we ready to admit that we have trespassed on the fullness of God by locking God in a religion, a book, a gender? Will you midwife new metaphors for that creative energy and power that continues to invite us to renew the face of the earth. Graduates, use your creativity, which is a renewable resource like love. Use it to find appropriate ways to nourish and sustain your spirit. Don't place limits on how or where God works God's grace. Will you midwife and swim in a spirituality birthed out of the awareness that we truly praise God when we build right relationships with people and with all other species on this planet, and that sin is destroying right relationships? Who is our neighbor? The Good Samaritan? Yes. Salvadoran immigrants, starving African children, the many women who endure violence? Yes. And the whale, sea turtle. Oh, how we have come to see the vastness of creation and its real connectedness, relatedness. Will we deal with the mindset of the myth of scarcity? This myth that pervades the West, and from where I live, I would say also the North. We have been trained to believe in scarcity. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough bandwidth. All of this so that they can tell us we need more of everything. So then we will have to buy more, have more. We need to midwife a new way of thinking, something that Lynn Twist calls the great truth of sufficiency. Imagine a billion with a B. A billion people go to bed hungry each night, and there is enough food right now to feed us all. The truth is we have enough grains to feed the world. Look, I have experienced real scarcity. I remember one day in Suchitoto during the war, we were waiting for the bus from the capital that we would send out every now and then. You couldn't go send it out every day because of landmines. But when it came back with food and whatever, everybody was downtown in the plaza waiting to see what we could purchase. And I saw a banana fall off the bus. I don't know whether it fell off the roof, fell out a window, but I saw a little boy and a goat go running after the banana. Well, I was rooting for the little boy, obviously. The little boy got the banana, and I watched him peel the banana with a smile so big on his face. And he walked away, but he passed an old man sitting on the curb, and I watched him return, give the old man the fruit, and he began to eat the skin. Now, I didn't know you could even eat the skin of a banana. So I decided I had to look into his face. Who is this kid? Not the goat. Who is this kid? I said to him, was that your grandfather? No, he said, you gave him the fruit. But he was going like this. You know how to chew a banana skin. He was really not wanting to. No, he was chewing away. And I said, was that your father? He said, no. I said, but you gave him the fruit. And he said, I think he was more hungry than I was. And then chewed away in peace. No? Will we deal with the mindset, the myth of scarcity? I have on CNN in Spanish, I see people sleeping outside of stores to buy the latest model of a new smartphone. They really believe they need to have it and right away. There may not be enough of them. Oh, graduates, rethink scarcity. Dare we think creatively in line with what Jesus and all the friends of God and prophets were dreaming of for this world? A nephew of mine recently wrote on Facebook that he thought every world leader and politician should be made to have a baby on his or her lap when they're talking to each other. I'll lobby for that. I just asked the Ministry of Culture of the government of El Salvador to give me the salaries of just 2 soldiers so I could pay 2 music teachers for my peace center. I promised them that we would evaluate and see just what worked better for gang prevention. Violins against violence makes more sense to me than guns against anything. Don't amputate your creativity, your ambitions, your possibilities. You must risk. So peek around corners, travel and stare at other cultures, other kinds of scarcities. Go to those places where there are palpable longings for justice and peace. Meet and befriend women who are willing to live each day to kill death and die each day to give birth to life. Create healing spaces for others who suffer from those of us who deny seeing the scandals, those of us afraid to be midwives, to make real changes in the structures. It is one thing to take people down from their crosses, but we must ask ourselves, how are we complicit in building crosses for others? Adrienne Rich, the famous poet who just died last March, left us with 2 haunting questions. These questions keep being quoted to me by a dear friend, Sister Carol Johnston. Adrienne Rich asks, with whom do you cast your lot? From whence do you draw your strength? I suggest you write to your dear friends each month and ask them these 2 questions, at least until you and they are 80 years old. With whom do you cast your lot? From whence do you draw your strength? So whose are you? To whom do you belong? If we are to midwife, give birth to new ways of belonging and to change structures in this global world, we need buddies. Even Jesus needed a gang. I needed hundreds of sisters of charity, thousands of students, and now mi pueblo, the poor and resilient people of El Salvador. Pay attention. Here's an invitation, an announcement. If you graduates or anybody here, if you want a creative gap year, you know, if you don't get a job, or you're not sure what's next, or you're retired, our doors at Centro Arte para la Paz are open to volunteers. You can belong to us as we try to create a culture of peace using the arts as the vehicle in our small town named Suchitoto, a place that was for so long, too long, a war zone. There are so many needs, so much trauma. Suchitoto can be one of those places where you discover your deepest center serving others. The people will break your heart open and you will love them for it. Soon I will be called an ancestor, but until then, I want to continue to wonder, to struggle, and to grow. I don't want to die before the last day of my life. I look at you today and each year at so many of my own students, and I know I can die with a smile on my face. I am convinced that you are ready to pick up and run with this gift of being human. You are ready to be mystics, to stay awake. You are ready to be midwives and help engage in what Joanna Macy calls the great turning from empire to earth community. Gratitude arises to be alive at this moment when for all the darkness coming upon us, blessings abound. These blessings help us stay alert and steady. Look, you never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. What we carry with us are those moments of oneness that are our mystical experiences. and all that we have birthed and nourished and loved, all that we have midwived. Anchor yourself in what is right, what is true, loving, and kind. Blessings, congratulations, and remember, call me if you're still looking for a gap year, and I'll pick you up at the airport.